All right. Welcome to the show. It is Ringside Report. I'm Dave Simon. AJ DeLesio is here.
Aye, Capitan.
Freddie Garcia is here. How you doing, Fred?
Fred, you're so quiet.
I'm great.
Fred's doing well. We're all doing fine. We got a big weekend ahead of us. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I'm averaging it out. I don't know if AJ's doing great. How you doing, AJ?
I'm doing pretty good.
Pretty good. See, that's not great. So I'm just saying, to be safe, we're all fine. Fred's great. AJ's pretty good. I'm doing terrific.
Had a little bit of a cough, but I'm good now.
I'm terrific. I'm doing really fantastic. Top notch right now. Feeling good because we got a big weekend ahead of us. UFC 248 is coming up. Over the next 7 weeks, the UFC is going to blow your mind. Over the next 7 weeks, the UFC has some ridiculous events. We're going to get to the UFC calendar in just a minute because I'm very excited about it. It starts right here. The month of March is going to be phenomenal for the Ultimate Fighting Championship. If you are a fight fan, this is going to be a great month and a half that really is going to cap off in mid-April when we have the big fight, the fight of all fights, on April I think it's the 18th. UFC 249, the next UFC pay-per-view, the 18th of April in Brooklyn, New York. It'll be Khabib Nurmagomedov against Tony Ferguson. That's taking place 7 weeks from Saturday. This Saturday, we have Israel Adesanya taking on Yoel Romero, which is a tremendous middleweight championship bout. The co-main event, a very good fight as well. Joanna Jędrzejczyk, the longest reigning strawweight champion, taking on the new strawweight champion, Zhang Weili, the UFC's first Chinese-born champion. She is representing. She's got the China Strong on her gear, representing for China, going through a very tough time. She had to go through a very difficult camp, dealing with, of course, the coronavirus in her home country. Zhang Weili in a big-time title fight on Saturday night against Joanna. And then Beneil Dariush takes on Drakkar Klose. Neil Magny taking on Li Jinglang, who's a training partner of Zhang Weili, also a Chinese fighter. Max Griffin takes on Alex Oliveira. Sean O'Malley had a couple years off due to suspension. He's back, taking on Jose Alberto Quiñones. You like? That's a great name, man. I love it. Jose Alberto Quiñones.
No way, Jose.
It's fantastic. It's like
Freddie's talking about something else.
What's the guy's name in Narcos? Miguel Felix. You know that guy?
It has some Latin lover to it.
Yeah,
you know.
But he's taking on Sean O'Malley, who's a wild man. So we've got a good UFC card coming up on Saturday. You'll be able to watch the UFC pay-per-view with us, UFC 248. Watch along. That's the deal, right, AJ?
The deal's
You're
there,
not
man.
bailing, right?
It's a date night again, man.
You're not bailing on the date night because our friend over here, I think, is bailing.
Freddie, you can't do that. The odds are on. You're 72% chance that you're going to be here. That's what the statistics are showing.
Yeah, you haven't checked the odds lately, I think.
Damn.
I think the odds changed. I don't know if Fred's going to be here on Saturday night.
Come on, Freddie. You could do it.
You have to tune in to see who's going to be on the show. What we could tell you for sure is that I'll be on the show and AJ will be on the show, and perhaps Freddie will be joining us in studio, or if he's not in studio, we're going to try to do something for the first time on a UFC watch-along and have Freddie via satellite.
Now we're talking. It's about time, actually.
Now we can
test Freddie on this.
We have the technology. It is possible. We just have to see if it'll work, and I think this Saturday might be a great time to check it out.
We have a satellite?
Look, this is the Ringside. This is the Ringside Report Network. Okay, it's no joke.
So we're gonna test it with Freddie, and then once Freddie works, we're gonna bring in OJ. Right? We were talking about OJ. We're gonna try to get him on the show.
What?
We said
that's a weird transition from Fred Garcia, great man, good friend, to OJ Simpson, tremendous running back, terrible murderer.
Very terrible, but apparently
alleged. I get. Do we have to say alleged?
No, he was actually wasn't he
in
convicted?
A civil case.
Oh, no, that was for robbery.
Do you have to say alleged murderer when you're talking about OJ? At this point, I feel like you shouldn't, and I don't even know why we're talking about him.
Don't squeeze it too much, Dave. But we were talking, me and Freddie, and apparently he's like a huge Twitter or like social media star now. I
basically told AJ that OJ's the greatest follow on Twitter, which he is. I know it's controversial, but he is the greatest follow on Twitter. And I told AJ that if he ever gets OJ on this show, I'm gonna give him props forever.
There you go.
Like, no, Dave, let's
OJ,
be
I'm
honest.
coming
Like
for you, man.
ESPN, CNN, they all want OJ, and they're not getting him. So if we get OJ, trust me, it's
I don't
big.
know if they want. I think they could probably get OJ. They just choose not to because
Of the ratings.
of the of the thoughts of OJ. Like people don't really like OJ.
But can you believe it? He's out there still, and he's like, I saw a video of him, and
Twitter
I
world.
was shocked. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, well, OJ is definitely a social media star. We are also on all the social media things. You can follow us. Follow me at Dave Simon MMA. Follow Fred at Freddie MMA. Follow AJ at Danny Bruck. Also, check out our YouTube channel. If you're not already watching, you can check us out right now. Like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, and click the bell when you subscribe so you get notifications every time we're on. You could also drop the super chat as well when you're watching us live on YouTube, which our buddy Daniel Winston just did. So
Way
shout
to go,
out to
Daniel.
you, Daniel. And you can always check that out online on our website, ringsidereport.net. We got you covered for everything UFC, MMA, Bellator, and also pro wrestling. We did the
Exactly.
AEW watch along last weekend. I'll tell you guys, I'm working hard. All
You
right,
are, man.
I'm
You
working
are.
hard. We're putting in a lot of shows, a lot of hours. Not only do we have the 3-week weekly shows with Ringside Report MMA on Thursday nights live on the YouTube channel, of course, Friday nights on TSN 690 Radio. You've got Wrestling Uncensored, also on TSN 690 Radio on Saturdays. That show comes out every week. Dave and Johnny Live. We've got
It's a
a
good
big
show.
one. Big Dave and Johnny Live this week. We're going to talk about MJF flipping off a 7-year-old
I
fan.
saw that. I couldn't
Pretty
believe it.
controversial. We'll talk about that on Dave and Johnny Live. And then we have the watch-alongs, right? We had an AEW Revolution watch-along last Saturday. This Saturday, we have 2 watch-alongs, okay? We have the UFC 248 live watch-along, 10 p.m. Saturday night when the pay-per-view starts. Our watch-along starts. Go to the YouTube channel. Go to ringsidereport.net. The video will be right there on our front page, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturday night. We're going to do the watch-along for that. Then on Sunday,
Jeez, it doesn't stop.
it's WWE Elimination Chamber in Philadelphia, and we're going to be watching that. I'll be here. Johnny North will be here. We'll be watching that with you live on YouTube for the watch-along for that. So it's a huge weekend.
Jesus.
Huge weekend here for the Ringside Report Network, and it's a huge month for the UFC, not just for the WWE. I mean, the end of the month ends with WrestleMania, guys. I don't know if you
What?
knew that, but yeah, at the
Already?
the end of March caps off with the beginning of April, which will be WrestleMania.
Which we're going to have a
We're-
big party again, right?
Yeah, WrestleMania, of course, will be a huge watch-along, huge party, and that'll be massive. That's going to be on the 5th of April, first Sunday of April. Every year is the first Sunday, and this is going to be big. So, yeah, we're like,
So-
4 weeks away now from WrestleMania?
So basically, what's happening is that March is going to be March Madness.
5 weeks.
March
weeks.
Madness, right? And it's going to be a month of our girlfriends getting upset at us for 4 straight weeks.
Yeah, we're going to be very
And every
busy.
MMA fan.
We're going to be very busy. MMA fans, wrestling fans, very busy over the months of March and April. Coming up here on Saturday, we've got Yoel versus Israel. We've got Joanna versus Zhang Wei Li. Next Saturday, UFC going back to Brazil for a fight night, UFC Brasilia. It'll be Kevin Lee taking on Charles Oliveira. Where's Rafaelo Oliveira? Remember that guy?
No.
You don't remember what I'm talking about?
Is he one of the brothers?
Rafaelo Oliveira used to fight in the UFC. His last fight was UFC 170. See how old school I am, guys? I'm
wondering why you know the record. The guy has a 1-4 in the UFC. Why you remember him?
I don't know. He
Dave
fought
is like a computer, man. He knows everything.
He fought a bunch in the UFC.
A bunch of guys have a 1-4 record in the UFC.
Yeah. I don't know why I remember Rafaelo Oliveira, but that's not who Kevin Lee is fighting. He's fighting Charles Oliveira.
Charles is
who's got a
something.
much better record in the UFC, and Charles is Brazilian, and he's going to be fighting Kevin Lee, who's a top 155-pounder,
The phenom.
who's been training here in Montreal. He's
Yep.
from Detroit, but he's been training here at TriStar Montreal, and that fight is next weekend in Brazil. The following week, Tyron Woodley traveling to London, England to fight England's own Leon Edwards.
That'll be a good one.
Massive welterweight fight. It's going to be Tyron's first fight since losing the title to Kamaru Usman, right?
Yep.
That's big. And then, the end of the month, the main event will be Francis Ngannou versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik.
Man.
Jairzinho, big, heavy hitter. That's going to be a ridiculous
But he's going
fight.
up against Ngannou, who's looking jacked.
Of course, but so is Rozenstruik, man.
Yeah, Jairzinho.
Do you know? I don't think
I know
AJ
Jairzinho.
doesn't remember.
I remember
Yeah, exactly.
Jairzinho, but it's Ngannou. Let's not forget Ngannou, man. He's look at him, like his training, his videos. He looks massive.
Yeah, but,
I know it's far down the line, but they also announced the main event for that Saskatoon card, which is going to be Volkov and Blades, which is
that what they said?
Yeah, that's going to be the main event of the June 20th or something like that in Saskatoon.
We got Mark Barrio that's on that card. I knew that one, which is going to be interesting. So we have like 2 Canadians that were confirmed. Let's hope we have a few more.
A lot of Canadian fighters on that card. UFC going to Saskatoon this summer.
Except for our buddy Olivier Aubin-Mercier, who now won't be on that card, which I was so sure he would have been. But he's gone to where? The PFL?
He's going to the PFL.
Wow.
Which is, a promotion there where if you win the tournament, you could win $1 million. And I remember when Olivier was on our show, he was talking about the PFL, and he had like a friend who was fighting in the PFL, and he seemed to be very interested in the idea of getting $1 million at the end of a tournament. And he seemed to be interested in fighting for the PFL back then. So I'm not surprised.
That was about a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
I guess.
I'm not surprised that he signed to the PFL whatsoever.
Like, I would probably bet a lot of money that Olivier did not make in his whole career $1 million with the UFC. So if you have a chance to win $1 million after a tournament, I mean, go for it.
But does that mean his contract ended with the UFC? Like, what happened?
Yeah, it probably ended.
All right. So I guess the PFL. What happens if you don't win? What do you get if you don't? Like, what do those guys get?
He probably has a base salary, which is, look, once you're out of the UFC, it's a little bit of a wild game. If you're winning, you're going to make some good money. If you have a big name, you're going to make some good money. Now, in the case of Olivier Aubin-Mercier, I have no clue what would be his base salary, but hopefully it's a decent contract. But I remember when we had him, he was really high on the opportunity to win like that $1 million. So I without having talked to him about it, I'm pretty sure that's the main reason why he would sign with PFL. Like, this is an opportunity to win a lot of money.
Yeah.
And Olivier's a competitor, so he's gonna go at it like with 100%, and hopefully it works for him.
Canadian gangster.
And it's a spot where, he fights maybe 3-4 times, and you could get $1 million. He's not in a position right now in the UFC where he's going to be making that type of money. So it's a smart move.
It's tough,
right?
And outside the UFC, like, I'm sure he could. Look, there's some good talent out there, but Olivier Aubin-Mercier is a solid fighter. In the UFC, you're amongst like all sharks, so every fight is a very, very tough fight. Whereas outside of the UFC, he might like get a little bit of lower opponents if he gets a lucky draw or something. Like, I could see him being successful in that type of tournament.
Yeah, I think that the top talent right now at 155 pounds is probably in the UFC, right? I think most of the tough guys right now at 155.
I mean, Bellator has a little bit of talent, but you see PFL, I'm not even sure. Out of the top of my head, I have no clue who's in the PFL.
No. But the UFC, they've got some really talented people at 155, and we've said it for years. It's probably the deepest division in all of MMA, right? Like, there's so much talent. It's so hard to get ahead in the lightweight division. You've got Khabib on top. You got Tony Ferguson. I mean, look at Tony Ferguson. Look how many years it took him to finally get this title fight against Khabib. It's tough to wrangle these big fights. Conor McGregor's in that division. Justin Gaethje. I'm looking at the top 10 right now. Dan Hooker, Donald Cerrone, Paul Felder, Kevin Lee, Ally Quinta, Edson Barbosa. I mean, there are some killers at 155 pounds. Not to say Olivier can't hang with those guys, but it's tough to get the right fights to move up the rankings when there are big names and recognizable names kind of ahead of you that would rather fight. Justin Gaethje's looking to fight Conor McGregor. He's not looking to fight somebody who's ranked, 16th or 17th in the world. It's tough to kind of climb up the 155 division because it's so deep and it's so tough. And it's filled with not only tough fighters, but also big name fighters like the Khabibs and the Connors. Like some of the biggest fights money-wise are happening at 155 as well. And you really got to do something. You got to create some fire to get into that division. You know what I'm saying? Like there's fighting at 155 in the UFC, and there's fighting in the top 15 at 155 in the UFC, and it's tough to crack that top 15 because you got to fight somebody in the top 15 to be considered top 15.
It's been a good division for a while. Like if you go just a couple of years ago, the Ben Henderson years, those were good years. Eddie Alvarez won it. After that, Conor beat Eddie Alvarez. You've had a lot of high-profile champion at 155. And if you go like way back, there was a time like BJ Penn was like the only guy. But then Frankie Edgar, Gray Maynard, a lot of guys came in and gave some competition. So, yeah, that's a great division.
It's always been tough to get a title shot. I remember a time when Jim Miller won like 10 fights in a row at lightweight, and he still didn't get a title shot because the division was so stacked and it just didn't happen. It's tough. So probably a smart move for Olivier to go to the PFL. We wish him luck. Always like to see a good Quebec fighter doing well and making waves. So good for Olivier, and I hope he does well there in the PFL. We're sticking with the UFC here on the show tonight. We're going to preview UFC 248. I'm pretty excited about this one.
Big time. This
is big.
It's stacked. It's going to be an exciting card. There's no doubt about it. From the first fight to the last card, it's stacked. It's going to be exciting at every level.
I would tell you these days, like the UFC cards are more about the main event and like the main 3-4 fights maybe. And this is a good one. As far as like the main event and the co-main event, these are very good fights. Yoel Romero, Israel Adesanya. I mean, right now at middleweight, the only other guy that could make an argument that deserves to be in it is Paulo Costa, I would guess. So this is like the two top guys at middleweight. Excellent fight. Adesanya's been like on a high recently. Like ever since he joined the UFC, he's just been winning, undefeated in his career. So I'm always hyped to see him. I've been on his hype train for a while. I think he's very exciting. He has charisma. His fighting style also is very fun. Yoel Romero is always tough there. So honestly, I'm very hyped for this fight. The next couple of months, as you mentioned, weeks, as you mentioned, are incredible. A lot of good title fights, and this one is just as good as any other one.
Yeah, this is a fantastic fight. It's great. Yoel Romero has been one of the toughest guys at 185 pounds for a while. He's fought for the title before. He hasn't won the championship. He's come up short. He fought Robert Whittaker twice, and he came up short both times, right?
Hasn't he gone like 3 times towards the belt and never got it? I mean, this might be his year. This might be 2020, might be Romero's year. So.
You know what? It is 3 times. And
this is the third.
This is the third time. But so he fought Robert Whittaker in 2017. He lost a unanimous decision. That was for the interim middleweight championship. If you remember back then, I think GSP was fighting Bisping for the title. The official title, Bisping was champion or GSP was champion. So Whittaker was the interim champion. Well, they had an interim title with Romero and Whittaker to kind of move it along while GSP and Bisping held things up. So then Whittaker beat him. But then something else happened, and they had another interim middleweight title fight. I guess Whittaker got hurt, right? I forget what happened, but Whittaker got hurt. And then Rockhold and Romero, they fought again, and it was supposed to be for an interim middleweight championship, but Yoel Romero weighed in at 187.7 pounds, so it wasn't a title fight. So right. Yoel won, kind of like what happened last weekend in the UFC, where Davison Figueiredo beat Joseph Benavidez. It was supposed to be for the UFC flyweight title, but because Figueiredo was overweight, it couldn't be for a title, so now he's kind of the champion, but he's really not, and there still is no champion. So that happened again with an interim title, but who cares? It was an interim title, right? And then Yoel fought Whittaker again, and it was supposed to be for the title, this time the official title, but again Yoel missed weight, weighing in at 185.2. Is Yoel going to make weight for this fight?
Apparently, he says he will.
He made weight for the Paulo Costa fight, but he didn't have to make 185 on the nose. He may have been 186. I don't remember. But he fought Paulo Costa in his last bout, and he lost again. Yoel has lost 2 in a row. He's lost 3 of his last 4. 2 of those are to Robert Whittaker, both by decision. He's not been finished. I mean, let's go there. Yoel Romero has been finished once, way back by Rafael Feijão in 2011 in Strikeforce. Since then, no one stopped Yoel Romero. He's beat some very tough guys: Derek Brunson, Lyoto Machida, Jacare, Chris Weidman, Tim Kennedy. Although that Kennedy fight was super controversial, I'm still kind of iffy on that one. But, Rockhold, which I know stung AJ big time when it happened. So, Yoel has had some big wins. But recently, he's lost 2 in a row. He's lost 3 of his last 4.
But look, as far as Yoel, everything you said is right, and I don't care. I'm going to tell you something that's a little bit controversial to some people. Yoel Romero's probably getting this title shot because he's a character. He's a guy that people in MMA know and either love or hate, whether it's for that Kennedy, what happened there where he stayed on his stool a little too long, or they love him because he's funny and he's charismatic and he's got a body that's to kill for.
Hey, USA,
exactly.
What happened to you?
Exactly.
You remember that?
Exactly.
You remember
when he said not to forget Jesus?
Yeah. No forget Jesus. It sounded like he was saying no for gay Jesus, and it was pretty controversial.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
Yes,
sound
it
like
did.
That. No,
yes,
it didn't.
It did.
No,
with
it
that
didn't.
accent that he has, for sure.
Please, Fred. Everybody on Twitter was like, "Did he just say no for gay Jesus?"
And right away, some people like me said it makes no sense. it does it's not grammatically. It makes no sense. He didn't say that.
Well, because it came off the states legalizing federally same-sex marriage, and then Yoel gets on the microphone after he wins a fight, and he goes, "Hey, USA, what happened to you? You forget the word. You forget the word of Jesus Christ.
Don't forget Jesus."
But he said...
Yeah, but with that accent, I thought the same thing what you said, Dave. Most people...
But then he says, go for Jesus. No forget Jesus. And he was saying no forget Jesus, but it said no forget Jesus.
Exactly.
It sounded like he was saying no.
It sounded like a Hispanic person that doesn't speak good English would say, instead of using don't, he'll use no, which is another negative, which makes sense. But no for gay Jesus makes no sense.
Yeah, but if
Because
on Twitter,
Fred, it was funny at the time.
it was really funny, actually.
It was like, what did he say?
I don't think it was funny because
Even
some of
Rogan
you
thought
guys
that.
really accused him of that, and that's not cool.
Hey, man, we didn't
Yeah.
say that. It sounded like that.
I definitely thought Yoel Romero was making a political statement there, but then when it was cleared up, I was like, because he even cleared it up. He's like, no, I wasn't saying that. What I was saying was this, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it. That's fine.
But Dave, listen, the thing with Romero, he's a character, and people love
great.
him.
He's
great.
funny.
I don't know if you saw the Ariel Helwani interview with him. He started off walking and doing an interview live with Helwani, and all of a sudden he gets into an elevator, and the interview gets cut off, and Ariel was like, I think the guy just got on an elevator. We're not going to have any communication. He got off the elevator and continued with his interview.
He likes to have fun, man.
He likes to have fun.
He likes to dance and
you know
all.
what? I love it. And he talked about the dance off.
I wish I could do a split.
Listen, this guy is 42 years old.
Or a backflip.
He's got a backflip. The guy is awesome.
He did a backflip into a split when he did a dance-off with Israel Adesanya. In jeans, yeah.
In jeans, man.
Look, Yoel Romero is a freak. The guy's 42 years old. People say when you grab a hold of him, it feels like you're gripping steel. Like, it's not even a human man. It's crazy. He's a freak athlete. He's very powerful. He's very big. He's very strong. That said, I think Israel Adesanya is going to knock him unconscious on Saturday night.
Well, look.
Me too.
Look, the thing that goes for Israel is that he has a 7-inch reach over Romero. And if you look at the height difference, I mean, that's the difference. If he can keep Romero away from, coming on the inside, keeping him at distance, and Romero can't do what he wants to do is take him down. This is what his game plan is. I don't think it's to strike with Israel. It's really to take him down and to show him what he's all about. His grappling game, Romero's an Olympic athlete. He knows to beat Israel is to take him to the ground and pound away. Israel knows one thing.
I don't
Once
know
he gets
how
in
much
the pocket,
he wrestles though in the UFC.
He's been doing for the last week in front of all media. He's been doing nothing but grappling, and his grappling was phenomenal. If you have a chance to see it, you're like, wow, this guy is top notch.
So you're going with Romero?
Now that's the thing. I want Romero to win. Deep down inside, I would love to see a 42-year-old guy being the second oldest UFC champion. But the difference is that it's the height and it's the reach game. And the thing with Israel is he is unbelievable. What he did to Whitaker and all the rest, I mean, this is not a joke. This is Israel Adesanya, who's only getting better. He's 30 years old, and he's not even in his prime. So in my opinion, look, if you want to bet with Romero, you're going to win big because the payout is pretty good at this point.
It's all right.
Listen, it's still a pretty good bet.
What are the odds, AJ?
The odds, I'll tell you. I actually put them down here. So the odds
the odds are Israel Adesanya minus 280, Yoel Romero plus 240. Okay? Well, now, Yoel Romero is an Olympic silver medalist in wrestling, in freestyle wrestling, in the 2000 games in Sydney, Australia. Yoel competed for Cuba, and he won a silver medal. He is a world-class wrestler, obviously. I mean, you win a silver medal in the games, you are legit, and he is a great athlete, top-flight athlete. But he's one of these wrestlers, don't you guys see? He's one of these wrestlers that kind of falls in love with their big, heavy hands.
Yes,
and
he doesn't wrestle that much.
As much as he could. It's like Dan Henderson or a Josh Koscheck or a lot of guys with very good wrestling. But then they find out, they also have heavy hands.
He'll be impossible probably to bring to the ground.
That's it.
But he won't get that knockout.
No.
And for all the athleticism that we say Yoel has, I think he's 42 right now. And if you ask me who's the better athlete in that fight, I'm going to say it's Israel. Because Israel is...
He's 30.
He's just as much athletic, and he's much younger, and he's in his prime right now. Whereas Yoel, for all the athleticism, once he gets to the later rounds, it slows down a little bit. He doesn't have the same tempo.
I would disagree with that, though. I would say Yoel Romero, as a man, like his body of work, when he dies and when Israel Adesanya dies, you will say Yoel Romero was a superior athlete. Because you look at what Yoel Romero is doing. He is competing in a title fight. He is a number one contender. No one's complaining about Yoel getting this fight. He's 42. He won an Olympic silver medal. No disrespect to Israel Adesanya. I think he's going to win this fight.
Look, I'm not saying Yoel at 30 or 35 is not more athletic. But right now he's 42.
If Yoel was 30 today, I think Yoel is beating Israel Adesanya. But he's not 30. He's 42, and that makes a difference.
Exactly,
but
2020.
Overall, I mean, come on, man. The guy won a silver medal in the Olympics. You want to talk about athletics? That's pretty good.
Of course. I'm talking today in 2020. Both guys are at the state of their career where they are at. And if you ask me today, who's the most athletic?
Yeah.
I think Israel is. I think Israel's going to move better in the cage. Mm-hmm. And I expect him to connect a lot on Romero. And he's probably going to overwhelm him at the end with a lot of strikes. And I expect him to finish Yoel probably around 3 or 4, but that will be my prediction.
Look, I don't think it's going to take that long.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. You look at what Israel was able to do to Robert Whitaker. That was ridiculous.
42 seconds, I think.
He finished Robert Whitaker in the second round, 3 minutes and 33 seconds. AJ, I don't know where you got your 42 seconds from. That was something that happened in your mind in a dream.
Well, no, I'm just thinking maybe that's what's going to happen to Romero. It's 42 seconds.
I don't know where you got 42 seconds from.
Listen.
But look, he finished him in the second round, right? And it was incredible. Just the way he moved around. I watched this fight again a couple days ago. This guy, Israel Adesanya, he's big, he's strong, and his movement is on another level right now. He reminds me of Anderson Silva in his prime. The way he's moving, it's scary, man. And I think Yoel, as big and strong as he is, it's not going to help because he's not going to be able to catch up to Israel's speed, to Israel's movement. I think Yoel is too slow. I think he's a little bit too kind of stagnant when he's in there. He's not moving enough, and I think Israel's going to dance around him and put him to sleep. I think Israel's going to hit him. He's going to catch him with a few shots. I mean, he's going to put him down. It's going to be a TKO or a KO or whatever, but Israel Adesanya is going to stop him, and it might be in the second or third round. You look, Robert Whitaker fought Israel Adesanya, Israel Adesanya got knocked out in the second round. When he fought Yoel, Whitaker fought Yoel twice, beat him twice in 2 5-round fights, right? So, I don't know. That doesn't add up all the time, but just the way Yoel is moving, I don't think that
Yoel moves slow a little bit.
he has the fluidity of motion that Israel does. Israel's just so fluid and smooth. Yoel is just a little bit too slow.
But look at their body types, right? You were just saying it. Like, Israel reminds you of Anderson Silva. And Israel says that he emulates Anderson Silva. He looks at the way Anderson used to fight, and you can see a lot of movement that is, you know what? He's the young version of Anderson Silva. And the thing with Romero is that you're right. He's big. He moves like a wrestler.
Couldn't put Anderson away when he fought him, though.
He couldn't. But you know what? But Anderson Silva fought really well in that fight. I got to give it to Anderson Silva. But you know what? They were very similar in their style, so it's only normal that he couldn't put him away. This fight is different. Romero is a big guy. The problem with him is it's his cardio. His cardio is the biggest problem. As the fight moves on into the third round, Romero is not going to be Romero of the first round. So if Israel is able to hold him back, which he probably will, and keeping him away with his striking game or kicking game, which he's a top elite kickboxer. And don't forget, Israel has amazing grappling, and he's been grappling just as long as he's been doing kickboxing. So the thing is, Israel is all round, and his conditioning, Fred, you're absolutely right. He's top of the line. You know what? I got to give it to Romero. If this is going to be a fight and he doesn't get that win, where does he go from there? Where does Romero go from there? Like, it's a shame because the guy is amazing. You
can keep fighting, make some money, but, what are you going to do?
I don't know. Join PFL? I don't know.
There could only be one champion, and if he loses, it's not the end of his career.
That's it.
He has a bright future.
Look, he said in his interview not too long ago, he goes, I got another 10 years left in MMA.
He said he wanted to fight till he's 50. He wants to fight into his 50s like Bernard Hopkins.
Look, it's a different game. Like the game to wrestling as opposed to boxing.
Look, he's 42 and he's fighting for the world championship. Nobody at this table is giving him a shot to win. But he's still fighting, and he deserves a fight, right?
Like it all depends on the matchups you put in.
Let's be honest, though. He's getting this fight because Paulo Costa's injured, and Paulo Costa couldn't take this fight. And Israel Adesanya said, I don't want to wait around. Who else do you got? And they said, Yoel. And Israel said, cool. And according to the UFC, nobody says they want to fight Yoel when he's offered. Israel had no problem. He was like, bring on Yoel.
Like right now, he's fighting the elite in Israel Adesanya.
Yeah.
But if you're telling me he's fighting like Darren Till or people like that, of course I think Yoel could fight for many years again.
I think he beats most of the guys at middleweight.
Exactly.
I don't think he beats Israel Adesanya, but you put Yoel Romero against most of the guys at 185 pounds, I think he's winning. So I think, Yoel can keep on fighting and have a solid career in the UFC and maybe even find his way back to a title shot. You never know. If Yoel does decide to fight 8 more years, I wouldn't be surprised if he fought for the title again.
And no forget Jesus.
Yeah, no forget.
No forget. But look, with his athleticism and whatnot at 42, this guy is more ripped than most of those guys in the UFC at in their mid-20s.
He's more ripped than anybody. He's Yoel Romero.
I don't know what he's taking. Obviously he passes all the tests, but you got to give him credit.
Genetics. That guy is genetics.
I saw his video way back, a bit of a documentary on Romero back in Cuba. And
he's always been like this.
He's a beast.
Romero should be like a spokesman for Bernie Sanders. Like Bernie Sanders loves the communist regime, and he should have Romero and say look at this beast. This is what came from
I'm
Cuba.
not sure Yoel is a fan of the Cuban regime.
Yeah, that might be an issue. I know. That might be an issue.
I don't think that would work.
Guys, actually, what he said is that if he does win the title, he's bringing the belt back to Cuba.
Oh, that's nice.
So you know what? Hey, look, that's awesome. So he's a big fan of Cuba still.
I don't want to get political here on the show. Let's take a break. We're going to come back and preview the rest of UFC 248 and get to some other news. We were talking about Ryan Hall last week. He found himself a fight, so we'll get to that as well. And I want to get your quick picks for the big fights of the month. I want to see what you guys think now, and then we'll see if you think the same thing when we actually preview these fights. Because, AJ, you've been known to flip-flop.
What are you talking about? You flip-flop?
Yeah?
But... No. Wait, Fred, you got to back me up here.
No.
Who flip-flops most between me and Dave?
I don't even know how you do that, eh? No.
No.
Isn't what you're wearing flip-flops right now?
Ooh.
Nice.
Is it? He does have flip, does he?
They're slides. They're not flip-flops, guys. They're slides. Be cool.
Are they Yeezys?
Be cool. No, these are just Adidas slides that I got on. And I'm also wearing a sweet Yankees t-shirt. AJ's wearing Yankees gear too. We're all Yankeed up for some reason.
But I'm not going to the home opener because David didn't get me tickets.
I might have a Astros cap for the opening.
Oh, boo,
Hey,
Astros.
Listen, can't
Yeah,
TSN
the
get us some
Yankees-
tickets?
I don't know, man. The
Come on.
Yankees are going to be playing the Toronto Blue Jays in Montreal for like 2 spring training games. The 23rd and 24th, I think, at the Olympic Stadium. I got tickets because I want to go see the Yankees. But pretty much a lot of the Yankees are hurt. Like Aaron Judge is hurt. He's not going to be playing. So Severino's out with Tommy John surgery. Not
Stanton also, I think.
Is Stanton hurt too? Yeah. So I don't know how many of the like cool Yankees are actually going to show up and play. I'm pretty disappointed Aaron Judge isn't going to play.
Like right now, you wish it was the Astros.
No. I still want to see the Yankees. I get to see Brett Gardner, man. Gardy. Probably Gary Sanchez. Is Gary Sanchez going to be there, you know? Maybe Garrett Cole will pitch. I mean, probably not, but hey.
Let's hope some of the former
I'll
Expos
see
are
somebody.
going to be
Maybe
there.
Tanaka will be there. I don't know, man. I want to see some Yankees. Look, there'll be some Yankees. There's no more former Expos left, AJ.
No, I know,
So
but
long
maybe they'll
ago.
come and watch the game or something.
Whatever.
You know, go Expos, go.
It's okay. Go Yankees.
Well, yeah.
All right, we're going to take a short pause here on the radio side. When we come back, we're going to preview UFC 248. I promise. We won't talk baseball. Oh, yeah. We're still here. It's commercial break time. We've got commercials to read for you. We've got things
Remember
to
we used to do this? You remember this? You're too young for this. Freddie will probably know. British comedy.
How old are you, AJ?
I know Johnny knows this.
I assure you.
Remember the Benny Hill show? Are you guys remembering the Benny Hill?
I just wanted to say Johnny's right. I hope okay, I got a opinion about WrestleMania.
All right. Freddie on wrestling.
If you're
I love
gonna
it.
make it 7 hours, I got no issue with it. But like
I do.
7
But wait,
hours? Come
wait.
on, Dave.
Start it like at 3:30.
No, that's
right.
too early, man.
Well, make
Look, in the summer, I can understand
the
if you're
early
having a
part.
barbecue party.
The
or
early
something.
part is the unimportant fights. So if you don't want to watch them, don't watch them. But if you're putting the main event past midnight, man,
not
I'm
good, man.
sleeping.
He's right.
Because look, there's a lot of young kids that are watching that.
Yep.
How
Last
many can
couple
stay
of years,
past?
WrestleMania has been hard.
Yeah. You don't want a show that's hard to watch. Right? Like
If I miss the early fights, I'll live on. But I don't want to miss the main events.
why would they put on a show where all your fans are like, this is too hard to watch.
And
We
it's
don't
a
like this."
Sunday, so next day, people have stuff to
Have to
do.
work. You're right, Freddie.
Just
You're absolutely
make it
right.
shorter. How hard is that?
Or start it at 3:30 and put the battle royals at 3:30. Who cares?
I agree. Just start it earlier. Make it an all-day thing.
Yeah, it ends around 9 or 10 o'clock. That's perfect.
yeah,
Perfect.
it's outdoors also often, so
It'd be awesome. It's
They
a
used,
whole like.
they used to
yeah.
do it in the afternoon.
oh yeah, the old school days, yeah, that was great.
It's better that way.
Hey, I heard Jake the Snake is back.
In AEW.
Wow, that's amazing, man. All the old school boys are coming back.
Tune into Wrestling Uncensored for our thoughts on the return of Jake the Snake Roberts. I think I know who the wrestler is that he's going to bring back.
Who? Don't tell me.
I'll tell you on Wrestling Uncensored.
Oh, I want to know.
All right.
Oh, listen, talk about like wrestling. Israel Adesanya, did you see him in an interview? He was a huge wrestling fan. Did you hear him? He loves wrestling. In
yeah?
fact, he says, you know what? I copied a lot of the WWE stuff to like make my game, like that whole persona that he puts. And he was talking everything, like John Cena. He was talking AEW. Like it was very interesting. I was kind of surprised. I'm like, he's got to get on your show with Johnny North.
He could have a career in pro wrestling.
I could see that later on for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He has that
He's got a
character,
big personality.
the style bender. He's
but
got the gimmick.
he's not a guy that seems like he won't listen to direction. Like in wrestling, you got to be able to listen to what they tell you to do. You can't just go off and do your own thing. Especially if you're a dangerous MMA fighter, you got to be able to listen to direction. Adesanya seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders. Like he'd be able to learn and listen and kind of get good at it. But he'll make so much money in MMA when his career's all said and done. I don't know if he'll do it. But Ronda made money too, and she did it, so why not?
I mean,
right?
Brock Lesnar did it.
Can I say something
making
else
lots of money.
controversial?
Yeah, I love it.
My favorite. Okay, he's not an MMA guy. He's more of a martial artist.
Who, Bruce
in
Lee?
wrestling.
Oh.
I'll say it's Ernest Miller.
I thought you were going to say Steve Blackman.
No. Ernest Miller was hilarious.
Mine was Kama Mustafa, the Ultimate Fighting Machine.
Yeah, preferred Ernest Miller.
Ernest the Cat Miller, yeah.
Yeah, he was hilarious.
He was legit karate.
Yeah.
Karate.
I think he was a karate guy. Eric Bischoff, too, karate guy.
I like the way you say it, Dave. Karate.
Karate. I don't know karate, but I know crazy.
Or pigeon foo.
You know who said that?
Very dangerous.
You know who said that?
Mike Tyson.
I think it was James Brown.
James Brown.
Yeah.
What, did he dance off someone? Do it with Israel.
Hit me!
Woo!
Huh!
Woo!
Fucking love James Brown.
He's awesome, man. He
James
was
Brown
crazy.
is-
Crazy. I'm sure. Look, I'll tell you one thing with James Brown.
I once had a chance to see James Brown. Tickets were like $50. And at the time, $50 was like a lot of money. It was like the late 90s.
Ooh,
It was
big
not
spender.
long before he died. It was, and I should have gone to see James Brown. I didn't go see James Brown. And I'm still regretting that I didn't get to see James Brown because that would have been amazing.
That's the king of soul, man.
That guy was
See,
the best.
Prince came to Montreal a couple of months before.
Prince has nothing on James Brown. Nothing.
Anyways,
True
I wish
nothing.
I would have went to see Prince.
Prince would tell you he's got nothing on. James Brown is like, come on, that was a different level.
But James was like
Prince was all right, but James Brown is a different thing.
But James was a serious germphobe. I'll tell you that. I like working back in the days in the hotel. He wore gloves all the time. So with this coronavirus going on now, he'd be freaking out.
My favorite James Brown moments is the interview I think he gave CNN after like the
the crack interview?
the domestic violence
Yeah,
with
yeah.
his wife.
I
Yeah,
feel
there might have
good.
been some crack also.
Yeah, he was on something.
It's okay. It's James Brown, man.
He was great.
He used to party with Richard Pryor. What do you expect?
Papa's got a brand new bag.
Woo! Did you know like he was the original moonwalk guy? Like everybody gives it to Michael Jackson, and Michael gave it to like he took it from James.
Yo, who's that Brazilian
you see
guy
James
that-
Brown, you see videos of James Brown dancing
He's
like
amazing, man.
when he was young and stuff. There's still nobody you've ever seen move like that. It's
Nobody.
ridiculous.
It's
Israel
awesome.
Adesanya could no.
You've
No.
probably seen like the wrestler that I think he's from Brazil. He's like Michael Jackson and he wrestles like Michael Jackson.
What?
You haven't seen that? He does
No.
like a moonwalk and he does the DDT.
I haven't seen that.
What's his name?
I don't know.
Mikael.
All right, Fred's gonna find it. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about our friends at Stitcher.
Stitcher.
Here at the Ringside Report Network, we've been making podcasts for a long time, and many of you have been using Stitcher to stream or download our shows, Wrestling Uncensored or Ringside Report MMA. Stitcher offering you the Ringside Report universe as part of the sponsorship of our work, a special offer on the premium version of their service. What is that, Mexico?
He's dressed like him too.
from what I understand.
They got pro wrestling in Brazil?
Yeah. He's like the Michael Jackson wrestler.
But he
That's
looked
cool.
pretty good, man. Let me see.
That'd be good in AEW. Find out that guy's name. That's good. So besides all our podcasts, you can listen to over 100,000 podcasts on your iPhone, Android, tablet, PC, Amazon
right.
Echo device, or in your car. They've got on-demand, ad-free shows with Stitcher Premium. So many different podcasts there. Stitcher Originals, bonus episodes, comedy albums, and more. Just $4.99 a month, $34.99 per year. You go to Stitcher.com/premium to sign up today. That's Stitcher.com/premium. Use the promo code RINGSIDE for a free month of Stitcher Premium, and it lets Stitcher know that we sent you. So Stitcher.com/premium, promo code RINGSIDE. You feel me?
I feel good.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. All right. Let's tell you about our friends over at IP Vanish.
Let's hear it.
These days, security on the internet is a big concern. Identity fraud, theft, and privacy are major issues. You need a VPN. We've been using IP Vanish for a few years now, and we're more than satisfied. It's on our phones, so we can surf safely in public Wi-Fi like the shopping center and coffee shop. There are hackers who spend their days lurking to find someone they can attack. They can get access to all your stored information, passwords, credit cards. Keep them out with IP Vanish. We've got IP Vanish on our Amazon Fire Stick. You can download the app. You could go on YouTube, and sometimes you see that message that says, oh, this video is not available in your country. And then if you're connected to IP Vanish, you go to a US server, and you can see these videos. You understand? That's what a VPN is there for.
You know what I hear you could do with it? like from what I understand, that AEW pay-per-view, how much was it?
I don't know.
It was like 54 bucks,
Something.
okay? But if you were like in Europe, it was only $19 on this. Like,
Oh, really?
So
yeah.
North America is getting ripped.
So you know, like
So if you had IP Vanish, and
May-
you
I don't
logged
know,
onto
can
the
you-
site, you might have been able to get it cheaper. And there are things like that you can do if you have a VPN.
I didn't know
IP
that.
Vanish consistently tests as one of the fastest VPNs in the industry, so you never have to worry about lag or latency. A subscription will include 10 simultaneous connections on multiple devices, which means that you can watch UFC live on one device, continue streaming on another one, and then still have 8 secure connections to spare.
What?
IP Vanish is available as user-friendly software for all your devices, including Windows, macOS, Android, iOS, Fire TV. If you sign up for a subscription right now, that'll include a 7-day money-back guarantee using our link. The Ringside Report Network will receive a small commission that helps us produce more content.
We need your help.
So you open another browser window now, keep listening to us, and go to vpn.ringsidereport.net to sign up today. vpn.ringsidereport.net, sign up today. Remember to use that link to let IP Vanish know that you're getting it from us, okay?
Dave, you're so good,
A
man.
VPN
So
is
good.
what you need. AJ's just starting to learn what a VPN is. We've been doing these commercials for months now, and AJ's just starting to figure it out, and he realizes now that he needs it.
Oof. I'm starting to believe it. You sold me, man.
Good.
It's really you're so good at this. You should get more commercials. We need more commercials.
Take it easy, AJ. All right, what else do we got here? Should we get back to the show? Fred? Any more thoughts on wrestling?
No, talk about the Michael Jackson guy. Who was he?
Some guy from Brazil.
Man,
Did
he
you
was
get his
awesome.
name, Fred?
Maybe that's what Johnny North has to do. Start doing a gimmick like Michael Jackson.
I don't think Johnny North can do a moonwalk.
Johnny Jackson.
I wish he could, but I don't think he can.
Oh, I could. I'm sure he can.
Can you moonwalk?
I could moonwalk, man, for sure.
Doubt it.
I'm from NDG, man. Of
Doubt
course you
it,
can
bro.
moonwalk.
I doubt your moonwalk's good.
You want to see me do some breakdancing?
Yeah.
You want to bust it? You want to dance off?
Fred,
Let's do a dance off. Live.
Fred, do you think AJ could moonwalk?
I don't know. I was gonna go jiu-jitsu geek and say the only breakdancing I do is to get out of half guard.
That's a really good jiu-jitsu move, by the way, and a good breakdance move.
You got to
You're
do it.
absolutely right.
You got to do it. It's essential. All right, let's get back. Should we get back to it?
If you ask my girlfriend, she thinks I'm a great dancer.
All right, welcome back to Ringside Report. I'm Dave Simon. Fred Garcia's here. AJ DeLesio's here.
Woohoo.
We're talking MMA, or at least trying to.
At times.
AJ's running wild, talking about his dancing skills and all sorts of other things.
My moonwalk skills, Dave.
And you can watch that stuff or listen to it if you download the podcast, or
You could watch AJ dancing.
You could watch the YouTube or Facebook live version of this show. This show's available on Facebook. This show's available on YouTube. This show's available on iTunes, on Google Play, on Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts or you want to watch us. We're there. We're also on your radio here on TSN 690. We're all over the place. But if you're listening to the radio version of the show, you don't get to see how pretty we are. You don't get to see our cool Yankee shirts that we're wearing. AJ and I are coordinated for some reason. And
Go
you
Yankees.
you also don't get to see the stuff that we do during the commercial break.
That's
So
when it gets crazy.
you want to watch us. AJ's doing little dances. Things get a little wild.
We talk great stuff.
We talk about pro wrestling. We talk
Sure.
about politics.
Michael Jackson.
We talk about Fred's personal life sometimes. Fred's expecting twins in like a few months.
Double.
4 months?
4 months. Man,
July,
it's coming around the
August.
corner.
Oh my goodness.
Jesus, time is ticking,
Fred-
man.
See, with
Freddie.
twins, I got excuses to miss watch-alongs and things like that. Let's
Freddie's
not
a
forget.
busy man.
Yeah, what's your excuse now?
Twins.
They're not here yet.
He's getting
He's
prepared.
using it
By
already.
the way,
He's saying
listen,
twins.
listen, I gotta say something, Freddie. I saw your painting skills. They're amazing.
Painting skills.
Wasn't that wall that you painted? Was it you that painted it?
That was my girlfriend.
Man, really? She's amazing.
Yeah, she's the
Forget
designer.
about Paul, your friend. Get.
Yeah, well, I mean, she has the patience to do all that,
That
type
was
of design.
incredible.
I don't, like, I'll roll paint, but don't ask me to do
So
one of
Freddie,
those
you know,
fancy
I thought it
designs.
was
when
you.
you said Fred's painting skills,
Yeah.
I thought you had seen
Michelangelo?
some sort of like some sort of canvas art that Fred had done that I was unaware of, that Fred is some sort of painter in his free time, which would really shock me knowing Fred. I'd be very surprised that Fred was some sort of painter. But you're talking about wall painting.
Wall painting.
And it wasn't even Fred,
But
it was his girlfriend.
maybe Fred does have some painting Van Gogh skills that we don't know about.
Can you paint, Fred? Can you draw?
No.
Me neither.
Well, I could draw.
As a kid,
I believe that.
As a
AJ
kid,
can
I
draw.
had fun doing those, like, medieval boats. You know, I used to do the pirate boats. Like I used to love to draw that. Like I could draw a good boat. That's about it.
Oh, that's very talented.
I can't draw anything.
Very talented.
I could draw like a stick man. That's about it. I'm not good at drawing. I don't know. Okay, why are we talking about painting and drawing? All right, can we talk about MMA, guys? UFC 248.
Oh, yeah, true.
What about
MMA.
that? Zhang Weili taking on Joanna Jedrzejczyk in the co-main event of this pay-per-view. I like it. I like this fight. But watching now, this is all I'm going to say about this fight. Watching Zhang Weili hit pads makes
she looks special.
It's like, well, then you see Joanna hit pads, and it's like when you compare them, Joanna's in slow motion. But Joanna's a very good striker. She's a multiple-time world champion in Muay Thai. She's a longest-reigning champion in UFC or strawweight history. Joanna's great. Knockout artist, beat up a lot of people. But Zhang Weili seems like she's on another level. Like, what's going on here?
I'm telling you, like ever since they opened up that UFC Performance Center in Shanghai, or was it Singapore? I'm trying to think now. It's in Singapore.
No,
it was in Shanghai. Either or, one of the two.
I just believe it's an evolution. I just believe it's an evolution of the sport. Like you're getting more and more better athletes.
But you have the conditions too, Fred, and that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
These centers are opening up in those areas, and they really invested in China, the UFC. So right now, it's producing real good women fighters. There's no doubt about it.
Well, I mean, let's be honest.
It is in Shanghai, AJ. You are correct. There is a UFC Performance Institute that the UFC opened in Shanghai in June of last year.
What? Yeah, $7 million investment.
How many years has it been for since Ronda Rousey came to Strikeforce? Because if we're honest with women's MMA, when it was early in the Ronda Rousey years, it was still like very new. And most of the fighters, they were like very good in one discipline, where Ronda was this excellent judo fighter, and then you had some strikers and all that. But now it's been like, at least close to 10 years that the sport on the female side has been established. So now you're getting some real athletes that are trained in multiple sports, and I think Zhang Weili is just like the evolution. And yes, when you look at her, she looks like very athletic and skilled. So she has both.
Ronda Rousey made her Strikeforce debut in August 2011. So we're
9 years. Yeah.
We're almost at like a 10-year point of like, when Ronda came.
Other girls seeing Ronda early on going, I want to do this. And, you know, like, that's what it does.
But we are 7 years now into, just past 7 years into women's MMA in the UFC. And you see how far it's come from 2013 to now 2020 with Zhang Weili, even with Joanna. Like when Joanna came into the UFC in 2014, and then when she won the championship beating Carla Esparza in 2015, you look at where the talent was and where the level was in 2015 when Joanna beat Carla Esparza. Then she beat Jessica Penne. Then she beat Valerie Letourneau. None of those people are even in the discussion as far as the top strawweights in the world anymore. Claudia Gadelha, same deal. She's struggling, All the people that Joanna beat, Karolina Kowalkiewicz, like, she's lost a bunch of fights in a row. She lost again, last week, the week before? Jessica Andrade, she did well. She came back. She became champion, but a lot of the people that Joanna beat when Joanna was in her prime in 2015, 2016 are no longer in the conversation. And Joanna, after beating Jessica Andrade, she lost to Rose Namajunas in 2017. Rose shocked everybody because Joanna seemed unstoppable. She was 14-0. She was the Boogie Woman. You remember the Boogie Woman coming to get you? Rose wasn't scared. Rose knocked her out in, 3 minutes? And then they fought again, went to the distance, but Rose beat her again. Joanna still believes she won that fight. I disagree. Most people disagree. Then Joanna comes back. She fights Tisha Torres. She beats her. Okay. Then she decides she's going to move up to 125 pounds and fight Valentina Shevchenko for the vacant flyweight title. Because the UFC is like, look, Valentina's one of the top 135ers, but she decided she wants to move down to 125. Joanna's one of the top 115-pounders, but she decides she wants to move up to 125. We're going to start a new flyweight division. We're going to have Joanna and Valentina fight. Joanna gets handled by Valentina Shevchenko. Handled. And then you start to think, well, what's up with Joanna? Is it ever going to come together again? Then she turns around, fights Michelle Watterson, who's tough, and Joanna looks good, beats her by decision. Now Joanna has this title fight with Zhang Weili, who, I don't know, man. Zhang Weili just seems like the next level of
MMA
in the strawweight division.
Yep.
She's 20-1. She has won 20 straight fights. She lost her first pro fight, but she's won 20 now in a row, including that 42-second destruction.
That was the 42
of Jessica Andrade. There's your 42,
my 42.
Finally coming back around. Wow. 42-second destruction of Jessica Andrade to win the championship. Now, she beats Jessica Aguilar, Tisha Torres on the way to that. She's relatively untested in the UFC. That's the one thing you could say where you could maybe question Zhang Weili. She beat Jessica Andrade in China. The fight happened at like 3 a.m. Jessica Andrade had to go all the way to China. That's where Zhang Weili lives and trains and she's from. She had a big advantage in that sense, I think. I think if you're a Chinese fighter and the world champion is coming over to you, she's coming from Brazil or maybe the States. I don't know where she was coming from, but, it's not an easy travel to China and go and fight somebody who's from there and acclimated to everything, right?
Look, I'll agree with you that she hasn't been fully tested. But with that said, her win on Jessica Andrade was so dominant. I'm not going to take anything away from that. And a lot of my opinion on Zhang Weili is more about the eye test, where I look at her and she just looks athletic. So yeah, I'm
does she pass the eye test though?
Maybe not, but I'm saying
China? You're not suspicious?
Yeah, mate, look.
Come on, bro.
Look,
I was talking to my buddies at the gym today, and they were like,
yeah, but I mean,
she's amazing.
Why didn't we say nothing about Yoel earlier? I mean, Yoel's just as suspicious.
Yoel lives in the States, and he's tested by USADA. Zhang Weili.
She's not tested by USADA?
Look, I don't know if USADA's going out to China.
I'm sure they are. They have to, Dave.
Look,
I mean, she's tested right now in competition and all that, so I'm not going to go there.
I'm not going to say anything about Zhang Weili. I'm not going to try and discredit her. I'm just saying that Chinese athletes right now are being looked at like Russian athletes.
Look, Gilbert Burns said it best. He says that his conditioning coach who worked with Weili Zhang, he said that Weili was one of the toughest, hardest working athletes he's ever seen. He said she's a beast. And this is from a conditioning coach from the U.S. So the thing is this.
I mean, Barry...
Yeah, her jaw, I got to admit, but a lot
Barry
of
Bonds was
jaws,
probably one of the hardest working athletes. I mean...
But that's Barry Bonds. Okay, so he had a little bit of substance in him.
I don't want to say that Zhang Weili is on anything. I'm just saying that people are raising questions because, look...
Yeah, but they said that about Cyborg too. Let's not forget that.
Sure.
You know what? So what?
Cyborg failed the drug tests when she was really tested.
Look, the questions are fair.
Good point,
Look,
Dave.
I think the questions
They
are...
said it about her because it was true.
I think the questions are fair, but at some point, if she's passing the test, you just got to enjoy what she's doing. And as far like I say, she hasn't defeated a bunch of people, Jessica Andrade, Tisha Torres. Other than that, she hasn't been really...
But she's
tested in the cage.
But she's 4-0 in the UFC, Freddie. So
yeah, exactly.
Give her credit,
and she's been very impressive. And
Yeah.
when I look at her, I'm like, this girl has the athleticism to be one of the top female fighters for a while.
Look,
so yeah,
she's
I
a new-
project her, but I think she has a lot of potential.
Look, she's a new champion who's going to fight the old champion. She's a new champion. She's young. She's determined. Her training levels are through the roof. Yeah, she looks big compared to some of the other fighters. But the truth of the matter is that this is a new breed of women MMA fighters coming in. They are training as hard as some of the male athletes, if not even harder. I mean, and you can see that there's a lot of coaches out there that are working with these women, and they can fight a lot of men and give them a good beating.
Right,
so
but that's
it's
not
a
what
different
this is
level
about.
of MMA now.
That's not what this is about. She's fighting Joanna and Jedrzejczyk on Saturday night, and she just looks like she's on another level. The hand speed is ridiculous. The power. She's got everything going for her. I don't think Joanna's going to be able to stand in there and be able to take the speed and the punches and the pace that she's going to put on. I think it's going to be very similar to what Israel's going to do to Yoel Romero. I think Zhang Weili is going to obliterate Joanna with pace. She's going to take her into the deepest of waters, and Joanna's not going to be able to hang there. The weight cut is always tough for Joanna. She got a couple of things added on that is going to make her a little bit heavier. I don't know.
Look, there's some factors that are going to go against Weili.
I mean, to me, if you're a professional fighter who's struggling to make weight, why would you get something added on to your body that's going to make you a little bit heavier to add on a couple pounds?
I see what you're saying.
You know what
now.
I'm saying?
Now I get it.
She got breast implants. It's cool.
But she looked great in that dress today.
Look, Joanna looks great. She's a beautiful lady. She's fantastic.
Show the pic, Dave.
Before and after the surgery that she had. But I'm just saying that once you get that, look, it's her choice, and I got no problem with it. I just question it from an athletic point of view. Joanna has had trouble cutting weight before. To me, if I was trying to cut weight and make a certain weight, I wouldn't add something to my body. Maybe they weigh nothing. They probably weigh nothing, and I'm probably an idiot right now. I'm probably being stupid.
Why don't you call her and
I have
ask
no
her?
idea. How much do they weigh? Probably like a half an ounce. You know what I mean? It's probably nothing.
Can we get somebody on the show to test, or
so we could hold them in our hands and see how much they? Is that what you're trying to do, Fred? No, we're not doing that, Fred.
We'll get Muscle Marco to do that
with his.
So then we're okay. If anything happens,
what, they're fake?
On Muscle.
Muscles Marcos are fake?
No, Muscle. He's all natural.
He's a man, though. We're talking about breast implants.
Men get implants. Do you know that? They get chest implants and bicep implants.
How much does a breast implant weigh?
I don't know. Let's take a guess.
Oh,
like a pound?
Every 100 cc of silicone weighs 0.23 pounds. Well, how many cc's do they put in? 300. The average 300 cc silicone implant, points a pound.
AJ knows.
And both of them together, 1.38 pounds. Now,
grew up in Montreal.
Look, man, 1.38 pounds when you're trying to cut weight.
It's a lot.
It makes a big difference. And Joanna already looked in bad shape when she was making 115 before. She struggled to make the weight. I just don't understand why you would add 2 pounds to your body. But look, she wanted them, and it's her choice. And I got no problem. I'm just saying, athletically, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be like, yo, I'm gonna get a penis implant because
you would.
No, I wouldn't.
Come on,
brother. I'm not getting any implants.
You would. Joe Rogan has this great skit about if those pills to enlarge your thing actually work, it would take about 2 hours for somebody to do an overdose because somebody would overtest it. So yeah, you would take it, man. Come on.
I take hair pills, that's for sure.
No, are we talking about pills or are we talking about putting stuff into your? Either way, I don't really. What are we talking about here? Let's not talk about this.
Junk in the trunk.
Can we just talk about how Zhang Weili is going to win this fight? I think Zhang Weili.
Go back to
I think she beats Joanna. Rose overwhelmed her.
Jesus.
Zhang Weili will overwhelm her.
Look, Dave, you know
what Zhang Weili did to Jessica Andrade was very similar to what Rose did to Joanna. And I think a very similar thing's going to happen. I think Zhang Weili is going to overwhelm her. She's going to smother her, and she might finish her quickly.
You know what, Dave? I'm going to agree with you on that. And it's too bad because Joanna was she was the poster girl for MMA for the longest time, but her reign is over, and I think this is her second chance at being a champion, trying to get back her belt twice, and it's not going to happen. But you know what? To go back, when you're talking about the implants and all that kind of stuff, I think maybe what's happening. Oh, our new camera, I love it. What I'm saying is that it's possible that Joanna knows that her career is coming to an end, and she wants to go into other stuff, maybe acting. They all get into acting at some point or whatnot, and usually some implants come with it. But the thing is that
whoa.
What? Listen,
Tranquilo.
man. Hey, listen, I don't want to say anything, but, what I'm saying is that she can do whatever she wants to do. I thought we were looking at camera 2 now.
It's a multi-cam setup here, brother.
We're getting too sophisticated here. So what I'm trying to say is simple, is that she could do whatever she wants, but she's fighting Weili, who's really coming here to be an MMA champion for a long time, and I think she will. There's not going to be too many women out there.
I'm just saying, Joanna has had trouble cutting weight before, and she just added about 1.5 pounds to her. And if she never had weight cutting issues, I wouldn't even talk about it. But because she's had issues cutting weight, I'm like, man, do you really want to add extra weight to your body?
But you know what? When I see her working out,
it's if a guy came in super muscular who'd been cutting weight,
George?
Well, no. Say somebody has trouble cutting weight, right? Like Khabib or something.
Darren Till.
Like Khabib, who's struggled to cut weight, right?
Sure.
Khabib, for example. If you started seeing Khabib training with, like, you know, bench press, right, looking jacked to the gills, big muscles, like overblown Khabib, wouldn't you say, hey, man, I mean, I know it looks good, those muscles and all, but, like, maybe you need to chill on, like, the overblown muscles because you're not going to make 155 looking like that. It's the same type of thing. It's just like, yo, I know that it's for the look and everything, but this is a sport and we're trying to, you know, make weight.
Look, it's like Yoel Romero. Like,
Khabib, like, chill on the tiramisu next time, eh?
That's okay, man. But listen, you were talking about...
You don't remember Khabib when he fought Tony Ferguson? When he was supposed to fight Tony Ferguson, he missed weight, couldn't take the fight, and on the embeddeds during the lead-up to the fight, he was eating tiramisu. And Tony Ferguson...
But it's so good.
Tony Ferguson, El Kukui, did not let him forget it. He still calls him tiramisu, and Khabib better not be eating tiramisu fight week because there's going to be no way out of the beating that El Kukui is going to give you. The real boogeyman, El Kukui, is going to take Khabib down.
No, that's
and I'm
not
giving
happening.
you my predictions
I'm gonna tell you,
because I want your predictions for the whole month and a half, the whole big 7 weeks that we have, all the main events. I want all your picks, and I'm going to get them here in a minute. But I'm already telling you, like I've been telling you every single week since this fight was announced for months and months, Tony Ferguson is going to give Khabib his first loss.
No way, Jose.
The O has to go, and Tony Ferguson will be the undisputed lightweight champion on April 18th.
Boo. And I'm going to tell you what, Khabib is going to beat him while eating tiramisu. That's the thing. So there's a lot of hype on Ferguson. I know a lot of athletes are going Ferguson's way on this. Like, the hype train is there. But let's not forget, it's Khabib. That's Khabib. He's going to beat Ferguson.
Like Khabib says, that is number one bull.
How is Ferguson going to win? Because I didn't listen to the whole thing you just said. So Ferguson's going to win by?
Either a TKO.
Boo.
Either he's going to TKO him, or he's going to win by decision, or he's going to submit him. He could win him in any number of ways.
You know what?
The only way Khabib could win is by decision, and that's why Tony Ferguson is going to win, because he has more tools in his belt. The only way Khabib is winning is by taking him down and smothering him and playing Khabib style. He's not tapping Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson's submission defense, his jiu-jitsu is too good. He is not going to TKO Tony Ferguson. He's too tough, and Khabib's striking is not good enough. Khabib's only chance of winning is by taking him down and smothering him and beating him on points for 5 whole rounds. He could do it, but for 5 rounds, Tony's going to catch you, baby. Tony is going to catch you. He's going to wrap his long arms around you. He's going to give you that Darce choke. He's going to grab you. He's going to hit you with some punches. Tony Ferguson never goes away. He's going to take it to Khabib Nurmagomedov. Wait.
Ah, boy. I love those dreams.
I can't wait for this fight.
But the thing is that Khabib is going to do the same thing he did to Conor. He's going to smother him, and he's going to take his back, and he's going to choke out Tony at his own game. And that's what's going to happen. Khabib, if he doesn't win by decision, he's submitting Ferguson.
Yo, I need to put some money down right now. Tony Ferguson plus 235, the underdog. Khabib Nurmagomedov minus 275, the favorite.
Big ol' bet on that.
Oh, I'll go all in, baby. Let's go. Man. Let's go.
This time we're going to have cream cheese and smoked salmon involved.
Okay, so we all have Zhang Weili by knockout of Joanna?
Yeah, I think so.
We all have Israel Adesanya by knockout of Yoel?
I think so.
Wow. I don't think these fights are going to go long either. I think both fights probably end within the first 15 minutes. I don't think either championship fight will see the championship rounds.
I agree with you on that, Dave.
All right. I like it.
It's not going to be a great payoff for the bettors.
This is weird. When's the last time we all agreed on the main and co-main event of a big UFC pay-per-view?
That's a tough one. When was the last one?
Good thing John Jones isn't fighting, so you don't have to say nonsense.
No, I think it was the only time we agreed was with George and Bisping. That's a while back, man.
Who was the co-main event?
Of George and Bisping?
Wasn't it a Joanna fight? I forget.
Man. I don't know. Who cares about anything else that happened on that card? It's George St. Pierre's last fight ever.
Well, I mean, you ask when's the last time we've been all together on the main event and co-main event, so that's why I'm asking you.
The co-main event was TJ Dillashaw, Cody Garbrandt.
But Joanna also was fighting. That was
Joanna fought Rose, and we definitely didn't pick. We probably all picked Joanna to win, and she lost by TKO on that night. Yeah.
Hey, things happen, man.
Hey,
You've
man.
got a puncher's chance. So-
Yeah. So, okay, let's go with the month. All right, I want to. Well, is there anything else on this UFC card that you're interested in?
Let's see. Who else is there? There's.
I like the Neil Magny and
Neil.
Lee,
He hasn't
Lee,
fought in a while.
Yeah, it's been
He's
like
back.
16 months. He's fighting Li Jinglang. That's going to be a good fight.
That'll be a good one.
I like that.
So who are you giving it to on that?
I'm
one?
very into Chinese MMA. I'm really interested to see, like, is this the next wave? Is China the new Dagestan?
You know what? It's very possible at this point.
Dagestan is the new Brazil, and China could be the new Dagestan.
You got a point there, Dave.
Is Dagestan the new Brazil?
Dagestan has like so many champions.
Because, like, remember, like
it's
when you
incredible.
were a badass MMA fighter, you wanted to go to Brazil to like really learn that real stuff, the real good techniques, the good jiu-jitsu, good Muay Thai.
Well, it still
but
is,
now it still is. Of
course.
But like now, if you're like a badass MMA fighter, maybe you want to go to Dagestan to learn that real tough wrestling stuff that they're doing out there.
but let's not forget
because it's working.
No,
you know?
absolutely. But let's not forget a lot of the guys that are coming from Dagestan as well, who have like amazing wrestling. The best right now because they have more champions in Dagestan than any other country. The thing is that they're all still learning jiu-jitsu. You still need that. It's still the tool that you need, regardless of the matter.
Of course. And you're still going to California. I mean, Khabib goes to California to do a lot of his camps there at American Kickboxing Academy with Javier Mendez, you know, and there are things that, you know, they know in Dagestan that they don't know in California and vice versa. You know, there are things, and that's a beautiful thing about martial arts. You could be amazing at one thing, but there's going to be somebody else on the other side of the world that's going to be amazing at something else, and you'll be able to use that.
Absolutely.
That's useful to you. Everything is useful, right? In one way or another.
And you got to look at their striking. Last week's fight, your buddy Magomed, I mean, that guy's striking skills are through the roof. So when you look at it overall, they don't only have grappling champions. Their stand-up game in Dagestan is like through the charts in a sense. So
that was
Magomed proved it.
terrible there with Magomed and Ion Kutalaba. The referee stepped in. I don't know what he was thinking. It was a terrible referee stoppage. That fight is going to happen again, by the way, at UFC 249.
Really? Well, it doesn't surprise me.
April 18th, they're going to run it back. They have to. But Magomed looked great. I think Magomed was going to win.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm telling you guys, Magomed on Kalayev. I've been calling it for a while. And you guys took a look on Saturday.
No, and absolutely. And the one thing with him is that for sure the ref stopped it too early as Kutaliba there threw that overhand like power shot.
Come
He
on.
was still in the fight. He was out of it in a sense, in some aspect, because Magomed really gave him like a combination with
wobbly.
Absolutely, with the kick and punch.
The only thing I'll disagree is Kutaleba, whatever, however you pronounce his name, he went on to said that being Rock was showing his opponent that he was Rock was part of his strategy, and I'm just like, that's not a smart strategy. No. Like, you know, so if you're gonna be rocked, you gotta, like, the referee might think you're in trouble. Now it was an early stoppage, no doubt about it, but
it was only gonna get worse.
I can get that, man. Like, just playing possum a little bit.
Look,
well, I mean, if you're gonna fake that you're Rock, don't be surprised that
the referee believes.
Yeah, exactly. That's.
Yeah, but I can understand, you know, pretending to be a little bit more hurt than you are to draw the guy in to try and look for the finish, and then you hit him back, you know?
But he didn't look.
There's something to that strategy.
He didn't look.
The referee should know better.
No,
the guy didn't look. I mean, come on, we're all watching it. The guy didn't look out of it. He looked a little, you know, shaky, but he looked like he could keep fighting. That fight should have kept going.
It wouldn't have went much longer, Dave.
And that's, well, I don't know.
You know what?
We're going to see it again, UFC 249.
No, absolutely. And the result will be the same. Magomed is going to come out of there as a win. The truth of the matter is that he did look shaky after that combination with that kick and punch. He flew into the octagon. He came out. He was a bit dazed. If Magomed would have, like, stepped out from that big punch, he would have continued with the barrage, and it would have stopped in the first round. There's no doubt about it. But Kutaliba is not a joke. This guy is like 26 years old. He's a powerhouse, and it just goes to show you the level of Magomed. And I'm starting to believe your hype, Dave, where I think
Dagestan
and Magomed is the guy that, if John Jones is still the champion...
That's what I was going to say. You just found somebody else to be a fan of, to hate on John Jones.
No, I'm not going to hate on John Jones. I'm going to ride Dave's coattails and say Magomed is really a guy to take out John Jones.
So you're saying that Ankalaev, that Dave said Ankalaev would kill John Jones? That's what you're saying?
I'm not saying...
I didn't say that.
Well, he did say... You said that Magomed was going to beat him.
Man, listen to the show from last week. I'm not going over it again. We got other stuff to talk about. What I said in a nutshell was
Freddie putting
because
fire.
Ankalaev's like 27 and John Jones is 32, because of that 5-year age gap. When John Jones is like 35 and Ankalaev is 32, there might be an opening there. Or no, I guess when John Jones is 37
That's some
and
bad
Ankalaev
math.
is 32. No, I'm saying when John Jones is 35 and Ankalaev is 30, there might be an opening there, right? 35, 36, that's when the athleticism starts to wane a little bit.
Not according to Romero.
Yeah, well, he's a freak of nature. So was John Jones, so you never know. What did happen, though, that was conclusive last weekend was Felicia Spencer, okay? Big win for the Canadian fighter, born in Montreal. But I think she fights out of Orlando. She didn't really live here very much, I don't think.
I'm not sure, but she's some. I don't know who she trained with here in Montreal, but she's awesome.
Well, she's Canadian, and she's going to be fighting for the World Championship because she beat Zara Fernando Santos last weekend in the co-main event of the UFC Fight Night, and now she's going to get the next shot against Amanda Nunes, UFC 250, May 9th in Brazil. So good luck to you, Felicia Spencer. You picked up a big victory, and now you have to go to Brazil to fight Amanda Nunes.
Yeesh, good luck.
Caralho.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? She was impressive in her win. There's no doubt about it. But is it enough to go up against Amanda? Now that is going to be like
I don't think there's a woman on the planet.
Not at this point.
There's not a woman on the planet messing with Amanda Nunes.
Cyborg,
not a single one.
Everybody thought it would be
Amanda Nunes
Cyborg.
is the baddest woman on the planet.
Oh,
she
yeah.
beat Cyborg. She beat Misha. She beat Ronda. She beat them all. Holly Holm. Line them up. Amanda Nunes has defeated them all.
I
Good
think
luck to Felicia Spencer.
we're at a point with Amanda Nunes right now where we just expect her to win every fight because there's no challenger that is really put their name out there.
Cyborg level. She's the new Cyborg.
Yeah, or the new Ronda, where if she loses, it's either going to be a surprise or it's going to take some time for another challenger to build up a resume that's going to scare us, that's going to say, oh, she could beat Amanda. But that's far from happening right now. So
I don't see it right now. I don't see anybody right now. We were talking about Ryan Hall last week on the show. He was looking for an opponent. He got one. He's going to be fighting Ricardo Lamas in May for the UFC in Oklahoma City. So
way to go! And we
not
talked
a top 10 guy, but still a good fight. A guy who fought for the title before, a recognizable name at 145 pounds. That's a good fight for Ryan Hall. It's a good test.
Way to go, Ryan! And it just goes to show what we were saying last week. Sometimes these fighters have to go out on social media and for people to start talking, just like we did. We were yapping about Ryan Hall, why he's not fighting.
Yeah.
And then boom, not even a week goes by and he's got a title shot.
Well, that's it. We were saying, going out there talking, you're going to get a fight.
Maybe they're listening to us.
he's got a
Who
title
knows?
shot?
Well, not
No,
a title
he's
shot,
got a
but
fight.
he's got a fight. But you know what? He's on
not
his way
a title
to
shot at all.
Not yet. What is he ranked at this point?
Not.
He's on what?
I don't
Not
think
even
he's in the top 15. No.
No, but he's making his way, and he's an exciting fighter, and he has a lot of
Okay.
Jiu-jitsu.
jiu-jitsu and a lot of
Jiu-jitsu.
fan base.
A
and
lot of
that's the thing.
jiu-jitsu.
He's
Okay,
one of
AJ,
the best jiu-jitsu guys in the game.
I want to run down the month and get your quick picks here, give you some quick betting odds of what's going on here. So UFC 248 is this Saturday. Next Friday is Bellator 241. Patricio Pitbull taking on Pedro Carvalho. Whatever. I won't get your picks on that. How about next Saturday in Brazil, Kevin Lee, Charles Oliveira. I won't give you the odds. I want your quick pick, AJ. Quick.
Oliveira, Brazil.
Oliveira.
I agree. Kevin Lee is the favorite, minus 140, though, right now. So if you believe in Oliveira, plus 120 the underdog. Hey, co-main event of that? Gilbert Burns, Durinho, right? Great
Durinho.
jiu-jitsu. You know who he's fighting?
Who?
You're going to love this.
Who?
Guess. Great jiu-jitsu versus great jiu-jitsu. Durinho is fighting Damian Maia.
What? That's ridiculous.
In Brazil next Saturday.
You got 2 world champion jiu-jitsu masters.
Baby.
That is ridiculous.
That's crazy.
This is going to be a pure jiu-jitsu
that's
clinic.
That's co-main event next Saturday
amazing.
in Brasilia.
Durino is amazing.
Johnny
Durino-
Walker's
wow.
fighting next Saturday
What?
too?
Really?
Bro, Johnny Walker is fighting
Krylov.
Nikita Krylov.
Wow. Well, Johnny Walker, man, kudos to you. He's been training in Montreal with the TriStar team.
Capone.
Ooh, Francisco Masaranduba Trinaldo is fighting John McDessie next week.
John McDessie.
Damn.
Kudos to John McDessie, who's been training out of Rufus.
This
So I gotta
Brazil
give him-
card,
wow, it's amazing.
overall, is better than the pay-per-view on Saturday.
You know, it's amazing.
Right?
That's going to be something to look forward
Like
to.
the co-main,
Yeah.
like the
The undercard
undercard
and
is
all,
better.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's better.
Well,
Weird.
kudos to McDessie.
Okay. Quick pick, Damian Maya, Gilbert Durinho, Burns.
Man, that's going to be a tough one. And
I
I'm
got to
gonna-
go with Damian.
Look, I'm going to go. If it goes.
Damian is the underdog, plus 185.
And I was just about to
Burns
say that.
minus 225 favorite.
Yeah, I kind of agree
Parlay, Oliveira, and Maya.
Oliveira Maya parlay. I like it.
with that. Dorino and my pick.
Okay. How about the next week? Leon Edwards, minus 150. Tyron Woodley, plus 130.
Leon Edwards, man, he's a specimen.
Tyron, man. I'm going with Tyron. I like the dog there.
Look,
Me too. Woodley.
It's in London where Leon's from, but I like Woodley there.
exactly. This is going to be a UK win. Leon Edwards is going to take it.
Oh, I like that. The rest of the card is not so good. Ngannou and Rosenstruck.
Oh, my God.
Heavy
Crazy.
hitters, baby.
Ngannou all the
Ngannou.
way.
I got to go with
Future
Ngannou,
champion.
too. I think this might go the distance. It's going to be a barn burner, brother.
If it goes the
Ngannou-
distance, I'm scared that it's so slow.
It could
and
get ugly.
Slow and boring.
Ngannou minus 270, the favorite. Jairzinho plus 230, the dog. Cody Garbrandt fighting Rafael Assunção in the co-main event of that.
That'll be good.
Greg
Cody?
Hardy's going to be on that card.
Against who?
Jorgan De Castro.
It's a Hardy give.
Yeah, well, exactly. And then, okay, how about April 11th? Overeem versus Walt Harris.
Man, that's going to be nuts. I'm glad Walt Harris is
The
back.
next 6 weeks are bananas. I'm telling
That's
you guys.
crazy. And Walt Harris has gone through a lot in the last year. I got to give him credit. He's back. You know,
Give me a quick pick, dude. I don't
Man,
want analysis.
you know what? This is going to be tough.
Reem.
Reem.
You know what? I'm giving it to Walt Harris.
Okay.
There's a lot of
odds
baggage
makers like
behind that.
Harris minus 165. Freddie and I both like plus 145. The Reem. And Khabib Ferguson, you already know where I am.
The Eagle.
I got Tony Ferg, El Kakui. AJ's got Khabib. He's going to be dressed up like Khabib. You're going to rock the hat?
I'm going to rock the hat.
Fred, who do you have?
Ferguson.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know
Two
you were
against
on
one.
Tony's team. Yeah. Team Tony, Team Brock,
Dagestan's with me, man.
Team Death Clutch, El Kakui. And hey, because
I'm going to wear the hat
you know,
too.
the
It's true.
one weekend where there's no UFC is WrestleMania weekend. They left WrestleMania weekend alone. They're like, no, that's Vince's weekend. There's no UFC on April 4th or 5th.
Smart move, man.
You know, because that's Brock's weekend. Brock and Drew McIntyre. Quick pick.
Brock, for sure. I never go against Brock.
I'm going with Brock, too. Fred?
McIntyre.
Oh, boo. All right, that's the show. Check out Dave and Johnny live every Friday afternoon at about 12:30. Johnny North and I talking professional wrestling. Check out Wrestling Uncensored every Saturday night on TSN 690. Every Saturday on the YouTube channel, ringsidereport.net. You can download the show. You can watch the show. All of our shows are available on video. Like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. When you do, click the bell so you get notifications every time we're on. AJ and I will be back on Saturday for the UFC 248 live watch along, 10 p.m. Eastern when the pay-per-view starts. Our show will start here on YouTube. If you're watching the pay-per-view, you can watch along with us. If you're not watching the pay-per-view, we'll tell you what happens, okay? We'll tell you what happens. We'll give you live analysis as it goes down. We're going to be partying. We're going to be popping champagne maybe. Who knows?
Eating pizza. It's gonna
Making
get crazy.
bets. It's going to be
It's
wild.
date night. You need a date? Come with us Saturday night. And Dave, one thing you forgot to mention, you and Johnny North, I mean, that show has got like controversial. It's got crazy.
Dave and Johnny live or Wrestling Uncensored?
No, Dave and Johnny live. Your show on Friday. You gotta. What time is it at? So people know. They keep asking me what time.
12:30 every Friday afternoon. It's a lunchtime show. 12:30. You're on your lunch break at work. I know you take your lunch break around then. You watch Dave and Johnny live. It's perfect. If you're on your lunch break at work, you pull up the YouTube channel on your phone. 12:30. You watch Johnny and I for half an hour. You go back to work and you have fun.
You can't bring your kids to that show. It
No,
gets
the show
crazy.
gets a little crazy.
Little
That's why it's not for the kids.
50 Shades of Grey. I've never seen more controversy than I've seen on that show.
It's a wild show. Johnny gets crazy.
Johnny goes wild, man.
I love Big Johnny. He's a great guy.
I hope we go see him wrestle. Like I think it's in May that he has his big show in Verdun or Villemart or somewhere like that. You know his the big show.
Oh yeah, is that happening again? Cool.
Yeah, remember we had free drinks and that whole kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was great.
So Big Johnny, follow him at North Genesis. He's a good man. You could follow me at Dave Simon MMA on Twitter and Instagram. Follow AJ at Danny Bruck. Follow Fred at Freddie MMA. And that's it. Thank you to Marco for helping us out on the radio side. And thanks to you for listening and watching. For Freddie and AJ, I'm Dave. And this has been Ringside Report.
Go Yankees.
Report. Go Yankees. Yeah. Report.